Hello YouTube, this is Karacakes bringing you another PGA Tour 2K23 video. Today I am bringing you something that is not quite a tutorial, but some of you may view it as such. While we are talking over what we're going to be talking over, we're going to play some footage of my -18 round that I did a couple days ago on my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Karacakes. I play live over there a few days a week and stream all of my TGC and competitive rounds over there. You can check out the full VOD on Twitch if you so choose. We played a lot of societies on Tuesday evening. Today, though, we are going to discuss Swing Path, the dreaded new mechanic of punishing misses. New in quotes, by the way, because as they say, the more things change, the more they stay the same. I'm going to help alleviate your stress, or at the very least, give you some ideas on how you should approach the game when it comes to Swing Path. Of course, it would help me greatly if you all subscribe if you haven't, like, comment on the video. That being said, let's dive into information about swing plane / swing path. Swing path, as it is called in this version of PGA 2K, is the line you create when you flick down and up on your preferred controller stick. If it's fully in the white, you get a perfectly straight shot if hit with perfect tempo. The tempo, or timing as it is referred to as, is how fast or slow your downswing is, determining your slice or hook, while the swing path determines the direction it will go left or right. Very slight differences and nuances between the two, but swing path is the full swing's path, while the timing is just the timing of your downswing. You can watch my last video on swing calibration, how to improve your timing, linked below in the description. Now, if you played last year's version of the game, you will have noticed that swing path in the game did not affect the shots drastically. At most, a yard or two if you shanked it enough. If you really shanked it badly, yes, you could get pretty bad swing paths and it would send your ball offline. But generally, if you were close to the center, it was off like 2 to 3 yards at most. You look at the line right now and you're confused. You're trying to figure out why your slight pushes and pulls are sending the ball off in drastically different directions and at severe punishments of going offline like 4 to 6 yards instead of the like 1 to 3 yards in the last game. You look at the line. How did it go off that badly? The top of your line might look straight, but unless it was perfect up and down, you will have some problems. So what is going on? Why is there a slight push or pull causing major differences to the left and right? Well, we did get some clarification from a dev who was kind enough to enlighten us in Twitch on Zeke Holbster's Twitch stream. I'll try to link that below if I remember. This happened like Monday. The dev's name is HP Greg C, and we were talking about swing path. Well, we were probably complaining more than talking about it. Probably the better way of putting it, but he told us how it works. At the top of your swing path, it will take what direction it is going. If it's straight and in the white, it will go straight. If it's just to the right, just like a touch, it will push to the right, and the left will pull to the left. It will add all of your swing path that is outside the white, even if it's the complete opposite way of what's at top, and add it to whichever side you push. So even if you wiggled and made a giant circle on the left while pulling down, if on your downswing you push just a touch to the right, it will push you A plus B plus C, whatever it determines is outside the white. And then add that to whatever is determined the angle in which you push at the top of your swing plane. On a driver, Craig C said about a 0.05% degree or 0.05 degree push or pull will equate to 3 to 4 yards on a 290-yard driver shot. That's how you can get some severe pushes. Even when you feel like it should cancel out or the fact that you barely push to the right, it will push quite far. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of variation in this. So Let me pull up another clip for you all and show you guys exactly what is happening. This is, in fact, some similar behavior to the old TGC games, funny enough. Here is a post by Materialization. Funny enough, him. I referenced him in our calibration video. He is aka Lindsey Collins, aka #1 player in the world currently. Somebody who eventually moved over to PlayStation, became a top player in PGA Tour 2K21. He was a pretty good player back even in 2019. And he made this really detailed post and let me know about it when we were trying to figure out the mechanics of swing playing. And it is very much similar to how we are doing it now. So, as he says, since there's enough interest in another experiment, compiled together data just as before, only this time with the master club driver fully lofted. So, he's showing us 30 shots, landing position, just swinging his stick or however he could. And he showed exactly how the swing plane affected where the balls landed. So we go down, he shows all that, then he shows each one of his meters. TGC 19 had a really small swing plane. If you notice, it's just like barely there, and we can see, like, look at this slight push out to the right. Let's look for #2 on here. It's not over here. He pushed it to the right too, right there. This is 9 meters away. And Lindsey is a very precise person, so he would have measured all this and tested it and checked to see exactly the distance between. And then he meticulously aimed in the same place and would just go for it and keep track of every single where it landed. And as you can see, these are pretty good swing planes. Mostly down the middle. Even this one, you would think, oh my god, look at that. That is so straight. Why isn't that, whoa, why isn't that here? Why is it all the way over there? 9-10 meters, like roughly 10 meters out, 9.5 meters out. Luckily, it's not as severe in 2K23, it seems, but they have dialed back their code to an earlier time. I imagine in 2K21, a big difference in these in how this is handled was the fact that they increased the swing plane size, because you could have a blue line you could have your blue line, it was white back in these days, you could have this drawn line, your swing path, pretty not too difficult to get it within the white. In this game, it looks like they really had it small. So when they added swing path to be like more big and had attributes attributed to them, they seem to have changed the coding. But then they probably realized that it wasn't sensitive enough, and now we are back to these days. And what he has shown is exactly the reason why I am making this video, and it's that you really need to not care so much about your swing plane. This is his chart, as he says. Fully lofted driver pushing the ball right. As you can see, everything is on the right swing plane. Nothing crosses over to the left. Everything is over. But look at that dispersion. 10 to 16 meters compared to -10 to +10 meters. That's a 20-yard dispersion. That's a big gap between where your ball can go if you slightly push it to the left. Even the slightest, #4, look at that, pretty straight. Just the slightest touch to the left, still 6 meters, 7 meters out. And the slightest push right, 28. Look at that, it barely looks like he pushes it over. So why is it pushing this way? And helps explain exactly what's happening in this game. The angle in which the swing plane goes at the very top determines where it'll go. And this is what they refer to as push-pull meta. What would happen is you can pull your stick and then push it back out. Pull it, push it. Keep it on this right side. But even in 2K23, I've noticed that even if I make this giant loop to the left, if I just push it all the way and I start from the left, what will happen is this up here, this push, it will always go right, even if I start way over here. Even if I drew a circle that filled and I drew it like a zigzag and I wanted to completely cover this left side, if I then swung forward, kept it over here and then pulled it over to the right, what happens is it will go right, and it will go very far right because you were completely out of the swing plane on the left. This is happening in this game, and this explains exactly what's happening. So thank you to Craig C for telling us exactly how the mechanic works. And as you can see, if we scroll down, here's a 9-iron or a 7-iron. Chart for a fully lofted 7-iron. As you go down in distance, as you see, he's trying to swing as straight as he can. Those slight pushes, like 3, don't go as far right because it has less time in the air traveling. And Craig mentioned this, that a longer shot will have more dispersion. Now, it's not as severe in this. These small shifts are not as severe. Maybe on Legend, but on Master difficulty, our swing plane is much larger. And so it is hard to get these extreme ones. And even when I tested, I haven't gotten such severe pushes that left me like 15 yards to the right. It's around this range. Even for the driver, it's like 3, 4, 5 yards only if I have a slight push. Now, if I have a severe shank and push and it goes way out, it starts going further and further out. But why I keep saying to just not worry about your swing and swing it consistently is that in the swing plane video, and in the timing tempo video, if you have a consistent swing, it's going to be more predictable. You're going to know what you're going to do. And it doesn't need to be as severe as what he's saying, Lindsay is showing off with this right-sided push, but people will be doing this. I can guarantee it if this is not changed at all, and if it is not policed on TGCTours, you can betcha that we're going to have a lot more people just pushing or pulling. My suggestion, swing it your way and swing it consistently. If you can hit those dead center perfects, it's not like I've been trying to just hit dead center perfects and it's not too bad. Sometimes I miss left, sometimes I miss right. I more often miss right, so I started aiming for the right and just playing my natural swing. And sometimes I naturally push to the right, and I'll show you that in just a brief second. And you might have noticed just in my video of the footage of my round, some of my shots are straight, pretty straight swing plane. Sometimes I go right, sometimes I go left in the video. You can check out the full VOD on twitch.tv/karacakes. I made it a point to try to swing straight the entire day and not try to rely on a push meta or whatever. I had mixed results. So let's go back into the game. And why don't we show off a little bit about how I approach this game right now. Now we're back in game. And this is going to be all my advice to you, all combined into one. First, let me show you what I mean about dispersions of the shots when we pull left and push right. We're here on my training practice facility. They're pretty easy to make, and I suggest you make one for yourself. You can just make it with just all green. You can add patches of rough to test rough. You can test bunkers. But my primary thing is I make a hole, I can set the wind, and it makes life much easier to test your shots. So first we're gonna set up a left pull. So I always start with a practice swing, And I'm going to purposely pull a little bit to the left, as little as I can, but obviously doing it intentionally, you're going to pull a little bit more. We're going to see where it goes. We have 0 mile per hour wind, as you can see, 100% power. Let's go for it. No swing timing, so we don't have fast or slow interfering our test. I said left, and then I hit it basically straight. As you can see, it's a little bit, tiny bit shift to the right, but that seems to not play. If you keep it mostly straight on the way down, and then you just are slightly gracing the line, the gray line, it seems like we'll have a pretty straight shot. But let's actually pull left this time. Well, never mind, we pushed right. And as you can see, immediately we're offline. It's a similar shot to the last one, except this time on my downswing and for a lot of my forward swing, we are offline and we're like 5-6 yards off. 4, 5, 6 yards off. And that's the difference. When you push your shot or pull your shot, it's going to go off in that direction. Doesn't matter how little it is, it will go off in that direction. Unless you can keep most of it in the white like I showed off at the first one, you're going to go off to the right. It seems maybe they're fine-tuning this a little bit, because even that first one would have had more of an effect. But let's see if we can get something more severe, right? Let's push it out to the right more severely. So this is more severe, but it's not that much further out. It's like maybe 2 yards out further more to the right. As you can see, we're not too far away from the pin, right? Like it's still around the same. So we go back, we rewind shot, and we try to miss left. And as you can see, if we really shank it, now we start to actually go off far. But even that isn't so severe compared to like if we slightly pull it. So again, we go back, we rewind. This is the best part about practice facilities, the ability to rewind. And there is that right-sided shank again. This is my kind of normal swing path if I'm not too focused. As you can see, it's fairly consistent where you kind of end up. There's our left, just a little shank. But again, it's in between. But from our testing, it seems like you can't like shank it just 1 yard or 2 yards left. There is a dispersion, and it looks like at these longer range, it's like 4 to 7 yards. If you're really off, it's going to be more like 10 or 11, right? But even still, it's going to be in the same direction. And as we showed, I did show a perfect swing plane already. Maybe we can get another one. Let me take a practice swing, see if we can get it. See, I always get those slight left shanks when I'm not even trying. Or the slight right shanks. As you can see, that right shank just doesn't push it off that much, but it does push it off enough. And it doesn't kind of matter what club you choose, you're going to get some variation of that. Let's take a lob wedge. We push it out, and as you can see, we're not straight on the line of the pin. We're off. It's only like 3 yards, right? 2-3 yards, but it's still off. So, knowing that, what should we do? Honestly, my honest, humble to God opinion, just try to hit it straight. All right? Just try to hit it straight. Try to be consistent. My honest opinion is if you miss on one side, play to make sure you don't suddenly do it the opposite way. Be consistent. If you constantly swing like a slightly right swing path, keep improving. Try to make it as straight as you can, but don't compromise yourself. Don't suddenly like overcompensate and start swinging and start pulling, and then all of a sudden you're mixing pushes and pulls. If you miss left with a push or with a pull, and then your next shot is missing right, that's an 8-yard difference on the longer clubs, maybe like a 4 or 5 yard difference on some of the shorter ones, but it doesn't matter. That's a big difference in your shots. If you combine that with a fast or a slow, do you know how exaggerated it gets? So try to be consistent. If I push every time, that number might be, 5 to 6 yards. I'm going to aim maybe 2 to 3 yards to the left. This way, if I try to hit a perfect swing path and I slightly push it, I'll only be a couple yards off. It'll be maybe like 2 yards right of the pin or a yard right of the pin. If I hit it perfect, it'll be a yard or 2 yards to the left. And that's kind of where we're going for. You need to know your misses. At the end of the day, just enjoy the game. TGC might implement rules to prevent severe intentional pushes like they did in TGC 2019. I showed you Lindsay's post. Eventually, on TGC, they implemented in their API checks to check if people were intentionally push bowling, exaggeratedly. It's okay to have slight pushes or a slight pull in your swing, but if you're intentionally doing that, they might do the same thing as TGC 2019 to combat that. So are you willing to just start intentionally pushing and pulling? So for those of you confused or worried about your swing path, just keep practicing, keep finding ways to swing straight. My advice is always try to become more consistent and swing as straight as you can as you refine tempo. Don't worry about what others do, as many might start pushing or pulling on purpose. You can compensate for your general side miss like I do. I tend to aim 2 to 3 yards to the left. Remember, there is no perfect shot anymore. The devs keep saying this. This system they implemented is exactly what they want you to go for. They want you to play within your means by, playing your play style, and you're going to enjoy it, and you're going to live when you miss and die when you miss, right? We want to make it so our misses aren't as severe and we're good. It's meant to be imperfect. Golf is an imperfect, difficult sport. At the end of the day, you're just trying to get it in the hole by any means, whether it's compensating for your misses, intentionally knowing that you hook or slice your ball more often, knowing your weaknesses, like you struggle getting out of bunkers. So treat virtual golf much the same as real life golf. If you pull a lot and you hit a lot of fast, make sure you aim further right to be safer. If you end up pushing a lot, aim a little bit left, like I do. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment below. Obviously, subscribe if you haven't. And what more do you want to see from me? Let me know in the comments. What kinds of tutorials or informative guides or content do you want to see from me? I will start uploading TGC test event rounds. We're going to record it so that it's a little more high quality than what you see in this YouTube video, although it looks like it came out pretty nice from the VOD on Twitch, so lucky for us. You'll have to deal with my random singing though if we do start uploading, but you'll learn to love it. It's hilarious, okay? And you get to see some awesome gameplay. At least I hope. Maybe sometimes I'll be bad. I mean, we all have ups and downs, right? So now, until next time, YouTube, this is karacakes. Twitch.tv/karacakes. Peace out. Love you. Mean it. Mwah.